your dog looked happy today. Tail wagging, eating their food, following you around the house. And you looked at them and thought, they're fine. But what if the thing you just called happiness is actually something else entirely? What if your dog has been sending you signals for months, maybe years, and every single one of them looked normal enough to ignore? This video is going to be uncomfortable for some of you, not because you're a bad owner, but because you care. And caring means being willing to look closer. Welcome to Doglingo. Subscribe now. What we cover here changes things. 10 warning signs your dog is not as happy as you think. And we're starting with the one that almost every owner gets completely backwards. 1. They sleep more than they used to. The average adult dog sleeps between 12 and 14 hours a day. Senior dogs sleep more. That number alone means nothing. What matters is the change. A dog who used to meet you at the door and now stays on their bed. A dog who used to follow you room to room and now only lifts their head when you walk past. Increased sleep in the absence of any physical illness or aging is one of the earliest documented signs of canine depression. Veterinary behaviorists describe it as withdrawal, the nervous system dimming its own activity because engagement with the environment no longer feels rewarding. Before you call it laziness, ask yourself one question: when did this start? Because the answer to that question usually points directly at the answer to every question that follows. 2. The tail wags, but the rest of the body doesn't. This one is the most misread signal in the entire human-dog relationship. Most owners see a wagging tail and conclude happiness. But ethologists have spent decades studying exactly what tail movement communicates, and the findings are not simple. A tail wag is not a universal happiness signal. It is an arousal signal. It means the dog's nervous system is activated. That activation can be excitement. It can also be anxiety, conflict, or appeasement. The full body wag, the one that starts at the shoulders and moves through the whole animal, that is joy. The tail wag that happens while the rest of the body is still, while the ears are back, while the dog's weight is shifted slightly backward, that is a dog managing a situation, not enjoying one. Watch the whole dog. The tail is only one sentence in a much longer conversation. 3. They've stopped initiating contact. Think back. Does your dog come to you, or do you always go to them? There's a difference between a dog who is calm and settled and a dog who has simply stopped trying. Voluntary proximity seeking, a dog choosing to approach you without any obvious trigger, is one of the clearest behavioral indicators of genuine attachment and contentment in dogs. When that behavior disappears or reduces significantly, something has shifted in their internal world. It doesn't mean they don't love you. It may mean they've learned that initiating contact doesn't reliably produce the response they need. Or it may mean their emotional baseline has dropped low enough that the motivation to seek connection has quieted. Either way, it deserves your attention. 4. They're eating, but not enjoying it. A dog who eats every meal but does so without enthusiasm, without the small rituals they used to perform, without that full-body anticipation at the sound of the bowl, is a dog whose relationship with pleasure has changed. Behavioral researchers call this anhedonia, a reduced capacity to experience reward from familiar stimuli. The food disappears, but the joy around the food disappeared first. Watch for the difference between a dog who is hungry and a dog who is happy to eat. One is biological necessity. The other is evidence of an internal world that still has access to pleasure. If the ritual is gone, that access has narrowed. And narrowed access to pleasure is one of the defining features of a dog in chronic low-level distress. 5. They startle more easily than they used to. A sudden sound that never bothered them before now sends them behind the couch. A visitor who used to get a tail wag now gets a retreat to the bedroom. Increased startle response and reduced tolerance for novelty are direct physiological indicators of a nervous system running at elevated baseline arousal. In plain language, a dog who startles easily is a dog whose stress system is already partially activated before anything happens. They have less buffer, less capacity to absorb the unexpected without tipping into fear. This does not develop overnight. It builds slowly through accumulated stress that was never fully resolved. And it is almost always invisible to owners until it becomes impossible to miss. 6. They lick themselves excessively. One spot on the paw, licked raw, or a patch on the leg that never fully heals. Repetitive self-directed licking in the absence of a skin condition or injury is a documented displacement behavior. The dog's nervous system needs an outlet for tension it cannot otherwise discharge. The repetitive motion provides temporary neurochemical relief, the same mechanism behind compulsive behaviors in humans. Veterinary dermatologists see this constantly in dogs whose owners brought them in for a skin problem that turned out to be an anxiety problem wearing a physical mask. If your dog has a spot they return to again and again, the skin is not the issue. The question is what the skin is trying to tell you about everything underneath it. 7. They've lost interest in play. The toy sits untouched for days. The ball you throw comes back once and then gets ignored. Play is not a luxury behavior in dogs. It is a primary indicator of psychological health. A dog with access to genuine well-being plays, not always with the same intensity, not always in the same way, but the impulse is there. When that impulse goes quiet, something significant has changed. The absence of play is not a personality type. It is a symptom. And in dogs under the age of 8 with no physical limitations, it is a symptom that should never be normalized or explained away with, "He's just not a playful dog." Every dog is a playful dog when their internal conditions support it. 8. They follow you anxiously rather than contentedly. There is a version of following that is love, and there is a version that is fear of being left. They can look identical from the outside. The difference is in what happens when you stop moving. A content dog follows you, arrives at your destination, and settles. An anxious dog follows you, arrives, and continues watching you, continues monitoring, cannot relax even when you're present. Because the nervous system is not tracking your location for comfort, it is tracking it out of dread of the moment you disappear. If your dog cannot settle even when you're in the room, they are not following you out of love alone. They are following you because the alternative is unbearable. That is not a bond. That is a symptom of a bond that has become their entire nervous system regulation strategy. 9. Their eyes have gone flat. This one is hard to describe and impossible to unsee once you know it. There is a quality of alertness, of presence, of light in a healthy dog's eyes that is not about breed or age. It is about access to their own experience. When that quality dims, when the eyes become watchful without being engaged, reactive without being curious, present without being alive to what's around them, something has left the room even though the dog hasn't. Owners who have lived through canine depression almost universally describe noticing the eyes before anything else. They just look different. They were right. The eyes are the last thing to perform and the first thing to tell the truth. 10. They greet you differently than they used to. Not less enthusiastically, differently. A dog who used to greet you at the door with their whole body and now meets you halfway across the room. A dog who used to bring you something and now just stands there. A dog who used to make noise and now is silent. Changes in greeting behavior are changes in the emotional significance of your return, and your return should be one of the most emotionally significant moments in your dog's day. When it stops being that, when it becomes routine rather than reunion, something in their experience of the relationship has shifted. It doesn't mean the love is gone. It means the love is no longer getting through, and that is fixable. but only if you see it. Here is what matters most after reading this list. None of these signs require a diagnosis. They require your attention. Your dog cannot tell you something is wrong. They can only show you in the only language they have. And that language is quiet and gradual and easy to explain away until one day it isn't. If 3 or more of these signs are present in your dog right now, make the appointment. Not because something is definitely wrong, because your dog has spent their entire life paying attention to you. The least you can do is pay it back. Subscribe to Doglingo. Drop a comment with your dog's name and the sign on this list that made you stop and think. We read every single one.